Hello and welcome to my podcast. I wanted to talk today about confidence because I think it's something that a few of us can struggle. I say a few, probably all of us at various times in our life can struggle with. Certainly over the years I've been painting, I've definitely struggled with confidence, never thinking that anything I make is quite good enough. And this is despite many people saying they love my art. I've often found myself desperate for external validation, and I'm guessing you know what I mean by that. So I finish something I'm working on, I take a photograph, I share it on Instagram, and then I spend the rest of the day checking to see if I've had any likes. And I hate that part of me because I know that's not what my art should be about. And the irony of all of that is, though, that even when I get the likes and receive, I suppose, the validation, I don't then believe it. I just think, oh, people are just absentmindedly, clicking the heart or just being kind, or oh, it's my family that liked it. Not that my family's views count for nothing, but you know what I mean. So it all fails to convince me that what I've produced is any good. So this is like a kind of a neediness, I guess. And it does lead to some arguments with, say, my husband. So sometimes I'll show him a piece and he says, oh, I love it. So instead of just accepting that and saying thank you, I start listing everything that's wrong with the piece. So I say, oh, can you look at that bit there? I probably need to change that, or I hate that bit there. Don't even, at this point, why did I even show it to him? So he just reiterates his love of the piece, but I then carry on listing all my negatives. So in the end, he says, why do you even ask me? You don't listen to anything I say. And before I know it, me and him are sort of on the outs. I think he takes that negativity I'm showing about my painting quite personally, as if I'm saying his opinion isn't valid or his opinion is invaluable. But of course, it's not that, though I do understand why he feels that way. I think sometimes when somebody gives you a compliment, it is a gift. I mean, I've heard that so many times. So when somebody compliments you, it's a gift, and it's when we kind of reject that by saying, "Oh no," that can be quite. It could be like a rebuff to that person. So I guess that's what I'm doing. But the issue is, I'm lacking in confidence. So I'm listing all the faults I can see before anyone can, including him, but he wouldn't in any case. I think it's a kind of a self-preservation instinct. I notice sometimes when I share something on Instagram or Facebook, I'll play it down in the caption, oh, I'm sharing this, but it's a work in progress, I don't think it's good enough. I'm almost getting in there before anyone else can. Now, I know that sometimes criticism is valid. And, I say to my husband, I want you to tell me the truth about what you think about this piece. Don't let me put that out there and make a fool of myself. I do want honest feedback, constructive feedback. There is that element, though, that I've still also got to be true to myself, so I can hear it. And if I still, if I still think the piece is right, then that's what I'll go with. But yes, I think it is important to have honest feedback and constructive criticism. I think, it's also okay for me to change my mind about my art. I think this happens all the time, that I finish something, I love it. I say, oh, wow, I love it. Take a photo. Sometimes the photo shows up some awkward bits that my naked eye failed to spot. So, I go back, rework it. Or sometimes I take a photo and I think, yeah, I still love it. I normally post at that point, probably shouldn't, because then I leave it about an hour and then I look at it on, say, Instagram or relook at the photo and I think, oh, I don't like it anymore. I see like an unresolved element of the painting. I see maybe a jarring bit at the top that needs, to be fixed. Now, all of that's normal. The issue is I've shared too soon and I really need to give myself a bit of breathing space between when I think I finished a painting and when, perhaps it is finished. But I think, that whole revisiting your work, no long after finishing or after a little bit of a break and seeing things you need to fix, I think that's normal. That's part of developing as an artist and part of us all getting our art to the very best state we want it to be, which is obviously the goal of all of us. And I think the more we do this, the better our eye becomes, so we spot some of these issues earlier on. and we know what to do to fix it. Because the worst thing for me is when I see something wrong, decide to go in and fix it, and end up ruining the whole thing. I never seem able to fix just that one bit. That's something I'm working on. I think also all of us can feel like we lack confidence if we start into work in an area that we are not used to, exploring something new. That's natural then, isn't it? Not to have confidence. I'm all for pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. Try something new. Last couple of months, I've been working with oils and cold wax medium. Completely new to me. Absolutely loving it, and definitely has transformed my art. And I feel like this is the medium for me. But obviously, to start with, you lacking in confidence or not quite sure if what I'm producing is right. Um, but I think sometimes if that goes on too long, that you keep lacking in confidence and nothing feels right, it might be that new area just isn't for you. Like I'm a bit like that with collage. I just can't get into it. I don't enjoy using it. And when I use any bits of collage in a painting, I end up painting over it. And it's like pointless. I guess you could say, well, I know it's there underneath the surface, it adds that extra depth, but for me, I don't really see the point. I'm definitely more confident when I love what I'm doing. Like painting with oils and cold wax medium, absolutely love that. Recently, when I'm painting with that medium, time just melts away. I'm in the flow. I've been the most confident about these paintings. I mean, they're the ones I've submitted to a gallery exhibition, a local exhibition, and 2 of them have been accepted, so that's amazing. I'm showing more. I've set up a Facebook page. I'm putting myself out there more with these pieces because I'm definitely feeling more confident about them, because I'm enjoying working with the medium. I'm in the flow when I'm painting, and it's all coming together. So these are the ones I do excitedly shout to my husband and daughter, come and see what I've done. And we are not seeing me afterwards, sort of spiral into, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. So definitely doing something right with these paintings. I think they come, from a deeper part of myself. They're atmospheric landscapes. People are calling them dreamy, sort of calming. They give a feeling of serenity, all the things I've always wanted to do. And I think I've struggled to a certain extent getting it right with acrylics. With oils and cold wax medium, it is working for me. I think they reflect something about me, my take on the world. I'm loving the process. So I think all of that is shown in those paintings, and I'm more confident about them. I think landscapes generally, I like to paint abstract landscapes. It's something about the way I connect with the world, and then in turn how I connect with my art. I like to express something important to me, and that includes my love of the natural beauty that surrounds us. In Wales in particular, I personally feel is a beautiful country. I live in Swansea, where we have our things like the coast, the Gower coast. We have valleys, we have hills, we have forests, woodland. Amazing beaches, as I've just said. It's just this perfect combination of beauty. And I find it very inspirational. Now, nothing I paint looks directly like a place, because that's not my type of art, but it is painting and expressing my feelings about the landscape and my response to the landscape. And in that kind of dreamy, soft, atmospheric sense, trying to instill ultimately that feeling of peace and calmness that I feel when I'm out in the landscape or looking at the landscape. And I think coming back to confidence then. So I started off by saying I lack confidence, but now I'm talking about areas that I feel more confident in, which is abstract landscapes, using oils and cold wax medium. And I think that's the clue, if you like. I think the subject is important to you, your familiarity with the material you're using for your paintings. And I think just experience, because as I've painted more abstract landscapes, as I've used oils and coal wax medium more and more, so my confidence has grown. So I think those things are key, absolutely. It's obviously natural to lack confidence when you're still relatively new to art or new to an art medium, you're learning. So, the way to overcome this is to keep on learning, keep practicing, and not give up at the first hurdle. As your skills grow, so your confidence will too. But, and I've sort of coming back to, I think, where I was going initially with this podcast, there's a lack of confidence that comes through a lack of experience, knowledge, skills. Yes, that's achievable in the sense of you can sort that out by learning the skills, giving yourself more practice, just nailing it. But there's a different lack of confidence. It's much deeper, that deep feeling of imposter syndrome, which I know I'll come back to in other podcasts. I think if a lack of confidence is manifesting as continuous negative self-talk, even after you are comfortable with what you're using, the medium, the tools, even when you love the subject matter and you're in the flow when you're painting, even when you've got lots of experience and, from a sort of skills point of view, you feel competent. If you were still telling yourself you're rubbish, still got all this negative self-talk, then that needs addressing. So, I'll hold my hands up. I do it. I've told myself things like, I'm useless, I'll never get it right, why did I post it, no one likes it. I know none of that is helpful. I know that's not the way I would talk to a friend, so that's not the way I should talk to myself. And that is what this podcast episode is about, or what I wanted to talk about, the self-sabotage voice. And all I want to say about that voice is, it is not our friend. It does not speak the truth. That voice isn't an expert in your art or my art. It's not an expert in any art. It knows nothing, which is, from Game of Thrones. We need to release that voice. We don't need its input. We need to listen to the real expert in all this. And that is that person, like me, you, when we're in the flow of our painting. When we are so happy painting, and then when we finish it, we immediately want to show it. Because we know it is working. We know our skills and experience, our vision, our message have come together, and that is a good piece of art. That initial response, that feeling, it tells you that what you've produced is something amazing. That voice that comes in later, that tries to tell you it's not, is wrong and isn't the voice to be listened to. It's the voice that needs to be put away, ignored, not important. Listen to the person who was excited when making that painting and when finishing that painting, because that is the person that knows the truth. That is the person we should listen to, because that's the person that was in that flow, understands what they're doing, and understands what's being produced. We all need to listen to that person, and we all need to ignore the self-sabotage voice, because it's actually not an expert at art. You've got to start listening to yourself. That's all I wanted to say today. I think it's so important that we believe in ourselves and back ourselves. And that's what I certainly am starting to do. Thank you for listening. Bye.